webinar jam one with the red lightning bolt.
This one right here. It's actually live now. Anything else?
That.
No. You can now, so I think we're actually live if you want to do this. So. Can you hear me, Jason?
I can, yeah. You sure?
It says live. It says live.
Right.
Check YouTube while you're on the phone and see if it went live. And I apologize, people, if you hear him as and
your webinar jam link still says sit tight. As soon as your webinar creator logs in, you'll be redirected.
okay, so do I click on that webinar jam studio thing, that little box?
Yes.
Let me see what that does.
It'll give you the webinar jam control panel on your right-hand side.
Oh yeah, there's the it gave me the, what do you call it, the chat. And it's got the links. But we're not live yet, right?
I think it's gonna go. I think it might go. Something's happening. Some magic.
All right, well, we've got that. I got to minimize this to get the chat open. Chat still going to open normal or no?
Your webinar jam link says it's initiating.
Okay.
Log into the room. And that's from me. All right.
Okay, so I got a control panel open.
I just joined your webinar.
Okay, so you're there, right?
Yep.
All right, so we should be good to go.
I'm and Hank. I'm on the phone and Skype. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It says we're live, but I'm not sure if we are live.
How about if we chat with people? Are we live?
Right, chat and ask people, are we live? This is crazy how they did this. Someone says they're here, so. Hey, Jim, we apologize, but Webinar Jam and YouTube made some funky changes that we're trying to figure out how to get this going. I do have Jason Miles here. Jason, I've known Jason for several years now, and he's going to come in today and talk about Shopify, who Jason Miles is. Jason Miles, he really rocks it with doll clothing. I know that sounds kind of strange for a guy, but Jason really knows his craft. And so I just want to welcome Jason. We're going to get started here, and hopefully this thing will roll the way it needs to. Just not sure.
Sounds good, man. Are you with me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine, Jason. Hey, welcome.
Thank you, man. It's really an honor to be here. I think we're getting some magic happening. People say they are here. Hello. Hello, Winston. I'm here. So thank you, John. Really, I appreciate this a lot. It's an honor to be able to jump in with you guys. Sorry for the lateness here, as John mentioned, webinar jams. Interesting. What do you want me to do, buddy? You want me to share my screen and share my slide deck? What are you thinking? How should we do this?
I have some of them saying that they can't hear. I don't know why they're not able to hear it, but I can see a couple of them said they cannot hear. So I'm going to post a YouTube link so they can go there if they need to.
Okay.
No presenter screen says sit tight. Presenter hasn't started broadcast yet. So that's kind of strange that we've got some saying hello and some saying they can't hear and some saying no presenter screen.
Yeah, no doubt. Well,
Well, we apologize for all this that's going on, guys, but I want to get Jason going here with his presentation, and I know on YouTube it'll come out right afterwards. So if you are, it says I am seeing the same. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Webinar Jam and why they made these changes, but obviously they're not working very well the way we want them to. This one says don't think they started. So they're there, but I don't see anything going on. So
my screen, and I don't know if you can see it or not.
yeah, and I'm going to copy this link to see if they can go to YouTube to watch this. Let's see. All right, we'll see if they can. I can see your screen.
Most people are saying they can't hear us.
I don't know why they can't hear us because that's something that I can't fix. I don't know how to do that. Let me take a look and see. All right, Jason, I redirected them all over to YouTube, so let's see what happens now. They say they can see us now on YouTube.
All right, cool.
So again, we apologize, guys. Webinar Jam and Google made some changes again with Webinar Jam. So if you guys can get over to the YouTube, I redirected you all over there so you're able to see this. So hopefully you can work the chat here and see the video on YouTube until we figure out the changes that Webinar Jam has made or YouTube has made with Webinar Jam, which they don't tell you. It's like last minute. We'll have to go with this for now. And again, we do apologize. All right, Jason just joined us. Jason Miles, good friend of mine. I've known Jason for several years. He really knows his stuff. Jason has a doll clothing line that does phenomenal with his patterns and stuff like that. And with his wife, Cinnamon. It's a real pleasure for me to have him here tonight. He's going to talk about Shopify and go into that a little bit for you. He does have a presentation that he has prepared for you. So I hope you guys take notes and you're ready to go because Jason's excited and he's really glad to be here. Hey, Jason.
Hey, buddy. All right, so let's jump into it. Hopefully you can see my screen, John. You know you can see my screen, so we're good on that side of it.
I can see it.
Awesome. So, hey, everybody. It's an honor to be here, as I mentioned. I think I'm just going to jump into it, and obviously John can edit this as needed later, and hopefully you can see my slide deck fine. So, as John mentioned, my wife and I run a Shopify site, and I'm happy to tell you all about it tonight. And over the last few months, really, I've started to work with people who are interested in launching their own website using the Shopify platform, specifically people who are selling a lot on Amazon. In fact, I've spoken just recently with a couple multi-million, million plus sellers on Amazon who need input and help on how to, grow another sales channel. And so that's what I'm passionate about talking about. So let me ask you a few questions. Do you worry about your account being closed on Amazon? That would be a concern, I think, for most Amazon sellers. Do you get bummed out for waiting for your Amazon payment to come through? If you stop sourcing either retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, garage sailing, or whatever you do to source for Amazon, if you stop doing that, would your income fall off and your pay decrease? And are you ready to expand to something that may be better? And I say maybe because obviously you'll have to figure that out, and we'll work through that tonight a little bit. So the question is, why don't you sell direct on Shopify? And that is a question that I at least want to challenge you on tonight. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't for your business, but we'll walk through it. So when I work with business owners, basically there are 4 roles that we talk through with them. The first one is a product person, or you could call this a product hat. You have to have your product hat on and figure out product strategy, right? And as arbitrage folks, if you're sourcing, you're always on the hunt for the right product. And the math of that part of the business, how to make it work. You're always on the hunt for the right thing. The second role you've got to master, or second role there is to master, is the technologist role. How do you sell online? John and I were just demonstrating our challenges with the technologist role as it relates to Webinar Jam, right? But that's a common role. Third role is a general manager, finance person, legal, accounting, the business ownership hat, keeping all of the things that you need to do legal, above board, and on track. And then the fourth role is the marketer role. And so you guys know this stuff. This is really, really common sense. But I guess my point being here that if you're doing arbitrage, you're doing role number 1, and you're letting Amazon do role number 2 and role number 4. And then role number 3, you have to do some of for your own level of arbitrage business. But obviously Amazon does a massive management on their side of the equation. So when you consider moving to selling directly customers on a Shopify site, you're talking about really becoming a master craftsman at these 4 roles and thinking through them so that you're on point for each of them. And Shopify obviously makes role number 2, the technologist role, super simple. And that's really the strength of the Shopify platform. It's really, really easy to use without having to be a technologist. Well, we're happy to share the details of our own journey on Shopify. Just one little, couple comments here. You can go check us out, pixiefair.com. I got nothing to hide. I got nothing to keep secret from you tonight. I'll tell you my numbers. I'll tell you exactly what we sell, where we sell it. You cannot copy my business model. I know that because I know my business model. And unless you're a design person that makes patterns, then you can't copy my business model. And if you are a design person, I'm probably working with you. Pixie Fair is a marketplace for doll clothes patterns. And most people say, is that even a thing? That's like this interesting small part of the universe of online. And we have about 70 designers that all publish on the site. And then we also sell cut fabric and notions, zippers, buttons, that kind of thing. And then we also sell online classes, and those are our primary revenue lines. And then in the last 6 months, we've started selling dolls as well, which of course anybody could do. But that's our site. You can check it out. A few stats. We have about 1 million page views a month. We do about 40 to 50,000 transactions a month. Our email list is just over 100,000 in total, but for the Pixie Fair specific, it's about 80,000. My shipping manager put a piece of paper on my desk yesterday and walked over, and it was the lady's name and an order. And I was like, okay, what's this? Some problem or something? And he was like, you know what this is? And I was like, no, I don't know what it is. And he was like, this is our millionth order in Shopify. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. So that was fun. So that's a bit about our site. So I want to walk you through some lessons from helping 582 Shopify store builders. I've helped them through a course that I have, and I'll tell you more about at the end. I think learning other people's businesses is fascinating. And so this is just my takeaways from working with them. And so let me walk you through the first question, which is it really a good idea for your business? And Shopify might not be right for you. It might not be a good idea based on, depending on what you sell. So I like this little 7-question niche test I put together. And John, feel free to interrupt me anytime or ask questions. You still hearing me? We still good? Awesome. Okay. So the first question you got to ask yourself is your prospective customer passionate for what you're offering? And there's a ton of product out there in the world that, you know what, people aren't passionate about it. And they're just not. It's just a commodity item. They don't care. Even if it's a branded item, they don't care that much. And so the first question is really about the passion of your audience. Second question is, do they spend money on it regularly? Some items are once in a lifetime purchases. Doesn't mean you can't make a good business out of it, but it makes it harder. So do they spend money regularly on it is a good question to ask yourself. Third question is, do they have an unmet need related to it? There are some industries and professions where the customers are completely satisfied by market participants who are offering awesome service and awesome products. And there's really not an angle that's easily perceived. And so if there's not an unmet need related to it, then it's going to be hard for you to develop a niche opportunity. Fourth question is, can you meet their needs professionally? A lot of times sellers I work with want to take a whack at something and they think, it might be cool. And then they try it and they just honestly aren't good at making the product happen. The product they make is not professional compared to the peers. And, so that's a real personal kind of question. And it's a question where you got to get honest with yourself and get feedback. Fifth question is, can you enjoy it? Do you enjoy it? And do you enjoy them a lot? I've worked with a lot of people who are in businesses and they don't enjoy it. It's just a financial transaction exercise for them, and they don't like their customers. And so I always challenge people to make sure you really, really like the people you want to serve. Sixth question is, can you easily get in front of them? Sometimes it's hard to compete with Amazon because you can't get an easy traffic strategy to build a niche website. And there's just no easy way to get in front of customers. And that's true in some industries and niches. And if you really can't get in front of customers, you really have a barrier to entry in a niche site. And the seventh question is, can you make a durable competitive advantage for yourself? Obviously, Warren Buffett uses that phrase a lot, durable competitive advantage. The idea is there some way in which you can lock down your opportunity in the niche rather than just being a commodity that's, person that's competing on price? Is there an opportunity for you to create something of unique value? Obviously, the simplest thing is a brand that people really will treat with loyalty. And of course, that's harder said than done, but that's the best way to do it. And then there are other ways to do it, like having a quasi-monopoly in a certain industry, those kinds of ideas. The way we've done it at Pixie Fair is that we created a marketplace and we invite doll clothes pattern makers to sell on our site, and we create a royalty relationship with them. So we have a high volume of patterns being constantly published. And as it happens, customers really like that. So our competitive advantage is the scale that we operate on because we have a marketplace of 70 product makers all working together. So these are 7 things to stew on, think about. And if you've got a specific product that you've private labeled, that kind of thing, then obviously you're closer to answering a lot of these questions than if you're just doing arbitrage. But you've got to think through this stuff before you try to take a whack at Shopify. So let's talk through 10 reasons I think Shopify is awesome. I'm just going to rattle through these pretty quick. And then it looks like we've got some magic working on the YouTube link. And hopefully we can have some Q&A. Or John, at the end of these, maybe if you just have questions, you can tee it up for, you know, what you think people might be wondering about, and we can have a more dialogue approach to this. So let me go through these real quick. So the 10 reasons I think Shopify is awesome is, first of all, it's super affordable. You can get into a Shopify store for like 14 bucks a month. I've argued with people recently who said a monthly subscription is a waste of money when you're starting out. And so I said to them, okay, what's your solution for an e-commerce site? Then they said self-hosted WordPress. And I was like, all right, self-hosted WordPress isn't self-hosted. You're paying a hosting company. How much are you paying each month for your hosting? So, and they're like, oh, well, $7 a month. And I'm like, well, only $7 more a month. You can have an amazing Shopify site. So, you know, it is super affordable. And I think people who say, no, $14 a month is too rich for my blood, or maybe being, pound wise and penny foolish. What you get for that entry-level Shopify store is really incredible. John just left the screen. I'm assuming he's still around, so I'm going to keep going. The second reason Shopify is super awesome is because they have beautiful themes. It's hard to make an ugly Shopify site. And it's created with an amazing set of elegant themes. A lot of them are free, and then you can pay to add a theme to your store. That's a, a paid theme, and they range from, $20 to a couple $100 in that range. The theme is really the backbone. If you're familiar with WordPress, then it's very similar to WordPress in that regard. The theme is really the visual skin on your website and lets you kind of create the experience. So that's fun. The third reason Shopify is super awesome is payment frequency. You set up your merchant services account through Shopify, and basically you get paid in a couple different ways. If you have customers that transact through PayPal, it's immediately delivered to your PayPal account. So you're instantly given the money. I like instant. I like to immediately get the dough, and very different than having an intermediary hold it for a while. If the customer uses a credit card, then Shopify transacts all of that and delivers the money to your bank account in a daily deposit, about 3 days behind. So 3 days ago's money is being deposited today for people who use their debit or Visa card or credit card. So the payment frequency, to me, I like it because we get money every day in a couple different ways. The fourth reason Shopify is super awesome is it's a hosted solution. So it's hosted by them, and I'll tell you why this is important. I was just at a conference, and I heard Mike Brown, who's the owner of Death Wish Coffee, speak. He's the guy who won the Super Bowl spot for Intuit QuickBooks last year. I don't know if you follow his story or know about him, but Death Wish Coffee is his brand. It is on the Shopify platform. He uses Shopify, and I was real curious what his site traffic was going to do. But basically, he said his site visitors went from, and I believe it was 250 unique visitors to 150,000 unique visitors in the blink of an eye. Just like immediately went from 250 to 150,000. And Shopify didn't skip a beat. It didn't break. It didn't crash. And I just got to tell you, I mean, we started our business using WordPress with different shopping carts plugged in. And I mean, I would go through a month or two maybe without something breaking. And then my wife would say, the website's broken, the website's down. And it was just such a common occurrence. I mean, I just can't tell you how often it occurred. And our site was growing a lot, I mean, we're scaling up, but still something would always break at the wrong time. And, it was Black Friday. It was, an important sales day. It was when we were trying to make extra money with a big sale or something like that. And boom, our site goes down. And that sucks. And if you've ever been in that spot, you know how bad that sucks. Shopify does not fail. In fact, I can count since June 2013 the times Shopify has actually gone down. It's one time. And I am religious about uptime because it's a primary factor for your opportunity to sell online. And they told us, they warned us it was going to be down, and then it went down and is just down very briefly. So having someone else host your site, trust me, the people who sell self-hosted WordPress sites and really talk you into Bluehost or HostGator or those other hosting companies, they're all making money off that deal, and that's why they're pitching it to people. And
Hey, Jason,
yeah.
one of the guys here is saying, can you put up the 7-question slide? The slides are way ahead of the presentation.
Put up this.
I have a couple of people saying that.
Put up the 7th question slide.
Yeah, the 7-question slides that you had with the 7 questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're saying that they're way ahead. And I don't know if Webinar Jam and Google, YouTube are lagging or what. I've never had experience like this before. So
okay, I don't know, but I'm only on number 4. So I'm on 4 of my 10 awesome reasons to work on Shopify, and number 4 is hosted by them. So hopefully you can see that. I see it on my screen, and there's not a lot on my slides. It says it's hosted by them. So I apologize if there's any mistakes. The 5th reason though is Shopify has done a lot of work to integrate opportunities to sell your Amazon product. You can do FBA. You can integrate your product listings, import them into your Shopify store. You can use Amazon Pay, which I don't even have set up, but it's newish, relatively new. So there's 3 or 4 different ways you can integrate with Amazon. Most people wonder about fulfillment by Amazon and having your Shopify products fulfilled through the FBA system, and you can do that. There's an app for that, and so that's a great reason to consider Shopify. It's all integrated. 6th reason is you really have an opportunity to own versus rent. The question at the top of the presentation was, do you worry about having your site or your account closed on Amazon? And I hear this all the time. People are getting their accounts closed. And if you own your own Shopify domain name and your own website, and you figure out how to sell through it directly, you don't have that worry. You got no worries at all on that regard, because you've got direct-to-consumer sales happening. And I think I heard it was Michael Hyatt one time say, never build your mansion on someone else's property. And, that's pretty wise advice. Now, I run a marketplace. And so, and with integrity, though, I can tell you there are reasons why I would say people should use PixieFair rather than selling directly on their own website. And maybe there are reasons you should use Amazon and not try to sell directly on your own website. So it's food for thought. I'm not saying it's always the right thing to do to sell on Shopify. And maybe it's both. Maybe it's Shopify and Amazon. You'll have to decide that. The 7th reason Shopify is awesome is scalability. As I mentioned already, my little story about Michael Brown and Death Wish Coffee, Shopify scaled up with us beautifully, and there's never been an issue. You can get in at $14 a month, as I mentioned, but then realistically, you're going to want to start to build out a site. If you start to get traffic, if you start to get tools and resources you want to add for customers, things like review tools, product reviews, things like loyalty programs, where you can offer, Pixie Perks is what we call ours, but loyalty bucks of some variety. Those types of tools are all add-ons, and you end up paying for those, and they're called apps, basically. Some are free and some are paid, but that is how your Shopify site will become more expensive. All things being equal, I think it's still a screaming deal for what you get, even if you start to add in apps that do cost you money. And frequently they're $5 a month or $20 a month, that kind of thing. I think there are a few apps that are hundreds of dollars a month, but that's pretty uncommon. This 8th thing about Shopify that's super awesome to me is you're creating an asset that's very unique to your business, just like owning property or just like owning intellectual, property, a trademark or something. You build a website with real traffic, you've got something that's sellable. You've got something that maybe in 3 or 4 years, somebody that's a bigger fish in the pond comes along and says, hey, I love your outdoor sporting website. I want to buy it for $3 million. That's not going to happen. Thumbs up. Is that good? Sorry.
Yeah, no, that means, $3 million. That's what the thumbs up for.
Yeah, exactly. And, it is an asset creation opportunity. And if you're always selling on the platforms, Amazon, eBay, Etsy, you're never going to have, I mean, nobody will ever pay you for the value of your site traffic. But if you've got a site that's in a specific niche, and a bigger fish in the pond says, you could be a great resource for us, we could bolt you right onto our existing operation, then, I mean, that's a real opportunity. And it comes down to a few core pieces. How much visitor traffic do you have? How much sales transaction do you have? What kind of, email list, that kind of thing do you have? That's what they would pay for. The ninth reason Shopify is super awesome to me is the opportunity for email list growth. We started on eBay in 2008. We, after 18 months, we had 125 people on our email list through our eBay store. And we just didn't understand the value of email list growth. And so once we got into it, we were like, dude, we got to grow this list. And we started little by little, started to figure it out. And so now we've got just around 80,000 in direct, support of our direct, Pixie Fair site. And then in total, over 100,000 with a few other areas of emphasis. So the opportunity to integrate that right into Shopify is super cool. And it's baked in. I mean, it basically, most templates that you use or themes that you use in Shopify give you a very easy thing to integrate. Now, I will tell you, Shopify totally loves MailChimp. It's like they're in a bromance together or something like that. They really prefer you use MailChimp. So a lot of marketers that have been around for a while that use Aweber, or, we used to be on Constant Contact. We eventually decided, you know what, they like MailChimp so much. And honestly, we weren't really that happy with Constant Contact. We decided we were just going to migrate. And so we migrated to MailChimp. But if you use a different platform, you can solve those problems. But MailChimp is really their email provider of choice. The 10th reason Shopify is super awesome to me is it gives you an awesome opportunity for content marketing and social media marketing. So, just setting up a website with fantastic product photography and, bringing people to it probably means that Pinterest, people will start pinning your items and traffic will start coming from Pinterest to your Shopify site. And then, of course, you've got an opportunity for, Facebook and Twitter and Instagram, that kind of thing. And it makes it easy. The site themes make it easy for you to integrate, your social media footprints. And that's not just about getting traffic to your site. It's also about creating a tribe or brand or, loyalty, following, and really working on content marketing as well. I love the idea of content marketing being bolted onto product marketing. I mean, it's really a huge opportunity. And just pick a product in your mind that you sell right now. Think of one specific product that's kind of your good seller. Tell me it wouldn't be awesome for those customers if you had some YouTube videos that accompanied the product pages. Maybe you had some blog posts. Maybe you had a list of top 10 reasons why this is an awesome product. All of that's possible when you have a Shopify site, because it's really baked together. Pages and blogs and product pages all swirl together in the Shopify platform very, very elegantly. So I'm going to stop here. That's my list. And hopefully we've got some questions. Scott says we're seeing slide 10 right now. So that's where I'm at. So that's super awesome. And I'd love to just open this up to conversation. I don't know you guys, obviously, much. John knows who you are, and whether you do just arbitrage or private label folks, or whether you've already got your own sites in different ways. I'm happy to answer questions from any and all angles. I'd rather really have a conversation about it than just keep droning on here. So, John, you want to?
Yeah, you guys have any questions out there? I know it's been a tough night with these changes and stuff like that, and I'm trying to get into the chat. So if you see me kind of go off camera here, it's only because I don't want to mess you up while I'm going through the chat to kind of see what's going on. Guys, if you can, start posting questions in here for Jason. Jason's here for us to be able to answer those questions for you. So if you have any questions, Scott, Brian, Francis, just start posting those now into the chat. And Jason, like he said, he's willing to answer any and every question that he can for you. So right now, I'm not seeing that, but I just think this whole presentation thing is just kind of off base today in itself. So as far as the webinar GM thing, so again, we do apologize, but
What about you, John? John, do you have any Shopify sites? Do you have any?
John Jr. works the Shopify for us.
Okay.
He's doing it. I'm not sure where he is with that, but I think you talked about integrating with Amazon. I think maybe if you went into more detail about a lot of the Amazon sellers on here probably don't know what that means and how to go about to integrate with Shopify. Maybe you want to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple angles to it. The first one is, fulfillment, FBA, and, having your product housed in their warehouses and then sell it on Shopify and then immediately have it shipped from Amazon. That is simple integration with Shopify. There are apps that arrange it nicely. So that's the first thing. And then the other question that people ask is, well, how do you get all your, if you've got existing listings, your own listings in Amazon, how do you bring them into your Shopify store? And that's an integration project. And there's again, an app for that. And the basic concept for Shopify is there's a theme that you install, and then there are specific apps you install if you need them for specific purposes. And so the idea is that, if you want to integrate, product listings from Amazon into your Shopify store, then you can certainly do that and import them. So you don't have to recreate all of the listing, description detail. Yeah. So.
I guess another question would be, who would you say would be the ideal seller to convert over and should be looking at Shopify? If they do, what they should be looking for Shopify?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it goes back to my niche test. And I would say there's a couple different groups of people who it might make the most sense for. The first one is private label people. I mean, it's kind of a funny place. I've talked to private label people who honestly won't even tell me their brand. And I'm like, well, what now? You created a private label because you want to sell on Amazon, but you don't want to tell me your brand because somehow you don't want me to know, like you're afraid I'm going to compete with you in your niche or industry. Well, that's not really being a private label, honest to goodness brand builder. So if you really want to build a brand that's a private label brand, then you need your website. I mean, obviously you need a website, and you want to do everything you can to spread the word about your product and your branded product. And so that's a no-brainer in my view. It gives you a direct-to-consumer sales channel. It gives you a way to create a loyal fan base and a tribe that'll start following your product. It gives you a way to do content marketing related to your private label products and really explain them with blog posts and videos, that kind of thing. So that's the first group. And then I think the second group is somebody who has figured out their niche or specific suite of products, beyond maybe one product, and really feels strongly that they've got an opportunity to sell direct to consumer and wants to create a second sales channel. Or, if they're already on Amazon and maybe they're already on eBay, then maybe direct to consumer on a Shopify site is their third sales channel. And so that type of person can definitely be, for example, in the outdoor equipment, outdoor sports equipment niche, or car parts, or you name them. There's hundreds and hundreds of niches. And if you're really an expert at the products in a niche, and the numbers, and what Amazon can do for you, and there's an active community of buyers out there looking for product, then that's an opportunity as well. The way we built our business was we had our anchor brand, and then we built a marketplace with about now 70 other sellers that also have their brands. So it was all a bunch of a cohort of sellers that are all focused on one niche or industry. So you'll have to decide whether that's right for you as you're listening to this. For a lot of people, you're not there yet. Maybe, it's not as if you need to ever be there. Maybe you're happily doing other things. But if you get to the point where you feel like you want to go direct to consumer, build your own sales channel, figure out how to acquire and retain customers, then obviously Shopify can be a key part of that. Yeah. John, any other questions?
Yeah, that's
John.
the question I had. I'm still trying to see if there's any questions over here, and I'm bouncing back from here in YouTube to see because guys, if you can post the questions on YouTube too, I'm over there too, so I can kind of help Jason out over on YouTube to get those questions to him. If you guys have any question, I'm looking through here, not seeing any. Just about, let's see, slide 10, slide 22, there's going to be a replay. It's just one of the webinars tonight I'm not used to doing when you don't have total control, but like Jason says, and it's kind of a good example because it's like your business. This is kind of a good example because if it's just like Amazon. If you've got all your eggs in one basket at Amazon, this can happen. What happens when everything goes haywire and you don't have, backup plan for yourself? And this is kind of what luckily we did have a backup plan and we are able to still see it. Maybe not the way that we wanted to tonight, but at least we had a backup plan. So you have to ask yourself, like what Jason's talking about tonight is, what would your business be like if you had all your eggs in just that one basket at Amazon? Or should you be looking at other platforms? And if so, what platforms are good? And maybe looking at Shopify is something that, is something that you should be looking at. If not now for you, maybe something down the road that you're kind of got your eye on and kind of watching out for, like Shopify or, Walmart with purchasing Jet. I mean, there's a lot of opportunities that are coming out, and I see more and more opportunities, especially since Amazon's restricting the brand new FBA sellers until December 19th. I see a huge thing. I don't think that's going to be a temporary thing with Amazon. I see Amazon's warehouses getting full, and I see them going to be
slowing down.
More restrictive of what they allow in their warehouses. So guys, what does this allow for you? This has allowed you to be able to use fulfillment centers to fulfill those orders for your merchant fulfilled or your websites. This is going to be something that is going to become the norm in the future, where Amazon is just not going to let anybody and everybody in, and you're going to have to think out of the box, and you're going to have to think of other places to be able to sell your products. And Shopify is just another one of those options that are out there, and Jason's doing a great job talking about it.
Yeah. I mean, it is interesting, isn't it? The question is, what's Amazon doing? They're trying to slow down their new people, I guess, and so I don't know how that bodes for existing people. I think it's worrying. I mean, the biggest question I get when people say, okay, I'm into Shopify, is how do I get traffic to my website? Right? I mean, that's the top of mind question after they say, yeah, I need my own site. The second question is, how do I get traffic to it? And I mean, the answer is there's 5 or 6 things, it does come down to using marketing tools that are existing and available and generally free. Facebook is a fantastic marketing tool, massive audience. YouTube is how we started. We started by doing contests on YouTube in 2008. And found a following, and YouTube worked really well for us to start to find people who are interested in our product. And then Facebook came along, and then Pinterest. If there's one thing I would say, for most people, it's if you're used to Amazon doing or having listings made already for product with photography and product description, then you really want to consider, okay, am I ready to take my own photos? And am I ready to write my own descriptions and really take a professional shot at that and try to be exceptionally good at product photography and description writing. I call it long form product description writing. Most Amazon listings descriptions are fairly short. Some are long, but I think as you write your own descriptions, the more detailed you can become, the better. And especially on your own Shopify site, that's true. But you get to decide that stuff when you have your own Shopify site. So, John, let me talk about the.
I got a bunch of questions now. If you want to jump in, I mean, they just kind of flooded me with some questions.
Oh, okay. All right, let's go. Rattle through them, man.
All right, they've got here the percentage of general fees they charge for every item sold.
Yeah, so they don't have a percentage of general fees like you would have on Amazon. The way in which Shopify works is there's a cost for a monthly subscription to it, and it starts as low as $14. And then they have transaction costs. So it's depending on the level you're at, you could just say in round numbers, it's like 2.6% plus 30 cents, which is really equivalent to sort of PayPal level. And so that's the transaction cost. And that's pretty standard. I mean, any merchant service account that you're going to transact through will want that pretty much same deal. As soon as you get to be a high volume seller, some of that's negotiable. That percentage will go down, but that's the way it works. So it's two things. It's your monthly subscription plus your transaction fee. All things being equal, that works out way cheaper than any deal you'd get on Amazon or eBay. But of course, you've got to get customers to your site, right? So you've got to spend money on marketing. So I think people who come off Amazon or kind of from Amazon's worldview onto Shopify have to wrap their head around spending money to acquire new customers. And that's just an additional cost. You begin to pay for your marketing in that way, and you consider it a cost of doing business. Yeah, so hopefully that helps. What else?
You've got another one. Ada says you also offer classes in Udemy.
Yeah. So actually, that's what I was going to say is the course. John's got the link that he'll share with everybody to my course, but I've got a course on Shopify. It's on the Udemy platform, and it's $2,000, but I've discounted it 99%. So now it's only $20 for you. And so a joke, no one's laughing because I can't hear you guys. But yeah, it's $20 course, and it's a full-on awesome course. The Udemy platform does that. I mean, your courses are like from $20 to $200. And so I've helped 583 people in the last few months. And I'm honestly really into this. I love helping people on their sites. And so my kind of basic offer is take my course. John will share the link. You'll put it in your community and share it around. And watch the videos. And then I'm honestly totally ready, willing, and able to be a coach, help, mentor, Sherpa, give you links, send you in the right direction. I review people's sites for them and give them feedback. I like it. I mean, it's fun to me. It's super fun to just see what people are building and what they're working in, their niches. And so, yeah, that's the offer we've got for you guys tonight. And it's $20. So just asking me a couple questions to me, honestly, makes that kind of feel like a no-brainer. Like it's honestly, I mean, I can't give this stuff away for free, but $20 is pretty much close to free. So yeah, that's the course we wanted to tell you about. And it's several hours of screen capture video. It walks you step by step through thinking through your Shopify strategy. Now, the only complaint I get is that some people come into it and they want me to do a step-by-step how to install a Shopify theme, how to set up my store. And I say to people, look, I don't do that because Shopify already does that. They've got like endless installation videos and step-by-step, for themes and how to set up a new product, that kind of thing. So I don't go into that stuff heavily. What I mostly go into is your store strategy, how to integrate your apps effectively, how to set up your theme optimally, and really how to put together a professional level website. And so I walk you through a whole formula for how to do that. And yeah, that's the Udemy course.
Hey,
What
Jay,
else?
someone that doesn't know how to write the thing in the chat, how do I write it on YouTube? I put it in the Webinar Jam chat. I don't know how to put that link into the YouTube chat. Where do I put that?
The Udemy link?
No, the link for your course. Yeah.
I'm not looking at your YouTube. I don't know where you'd put it.
Yeah, I don't have a clue.
In the chat comments under the YouTube video?
Yeah, yeah, I can put it. I'm looking under the comments there. I don't see where to do that. But what I will do is I will put it in there after this video is over. I will have it there. I do have it on the Webinar GM chat, so it's there. But guys who are here, if you want that link for that course, don't worry. As soon as this is done, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to add that link on the actual site underneath the video, so you guys will have it. Because not too familiar on how to do that on YouTube. Unless anybody can put in the chat how I do it, I'd be glad to put it if someone tells me.
It doesn't look like the chat's enabled on YouTube right now. I'm looking at it.
No, I got the chat, but I see how they're posting in there. I don't know how they're doing it. I'm not familiar with YouTube that much, so.
I'm looking. Well, anyway, all that to say, yeah, honestly, the course to me it's just an opportunity to get in a conversation. So pay the $20, you get my contact info through the course, and then I can help you. And honestly, that's the best way to do it is, because everybody has a unique situation. And Shopify is so huge, everybody has a unique, need and circumstance. So the easiest way to do it is just hit me up and ask me for links or resources or how do you do this, how do you do that? And I'm always happy to point you in the right direction. So.
All right. I got a bunch more questions, so I'm going to read through them and see if we can get through them quickly.
Sure.
We've got John who says, what would be the basic setup cost be for Shopify, and do you use a third party to manage inventory levels?
What would be the basic setup cost? Well, it depends on if you want to do it yourself or pay somebody else to do it. If you want to just set up your own Shopify store and you're comfortable, you're doing a few things. I would say you probably need to be comfortable with product photography and using Photoshop elements. It's what we use a lot to get images the right size. Then you're into it for the cost of your monthly subscription, $14. And if you use a free theme, then that's your startup cost. People pay to have people create Shopify sites for them. And I've heard costs ranging from, $750 to $3,000. I think you can go on Fiverr and get somebody to do it for $5. Maybe that's the way to go. I don't think I would do that. But ultimately, if you're going to be the owner of your website, I kind of would strongly encourage you to just go through the process. Learn to set it up yourself. It might be real painful at first, and you might be real frustrated, but you're the one who's going to be in charge of your technology once you get your site up and going. So it's probably a good learning exercise. Yeah.
Next question's from Leslie. She says, I do not have a niche yet. I do mainly wholesale. I want to link my Amazon account. Work for that.
Yeah, but you can't gloss over the first comment, which is I don't have a niche yet. Creating a website in Shopify that's just a random collection of randomness, I don't think will work. I mean, I've never seen it work. Unless you've got a really super incredible brand and a way to galvanize people. I think you need to focus on your niche strategy. And then once you work through the niche strategy, you can come up with a suite of products that, a half dozen or so that really make sense together. And maybe it's just one or two that are awesome products that you really, want to lock down. Maybe you've got lockdown sourcing for them. You've got a exclusive deal or something like that with a manufacturer. Then you're off to the races. So that would be the main thing. Once you have your Shopify site set up, you can import your listings from Amazon. That's not hard at all. There's an app to do that. And so if you want, just jump into my course, and then I'm happy to point you in the right direction to get all that part of it done. But I wouldn't gloss over the issue of the strategy, because that's the main thing, is what customer are you going to serve and how you're going to put it in front of them creatively with long-term competitive advantage. What else?
Question is from End in Mind. It says BigCommerce versus Shopify.
Yeah. So Magento and BigCommerce and a few other WooCommerce. There are a few others that come to mind. 3D Cart is out there. Basically, they fall into two camps from my view, and I'm not a technologist. I'm not like an industry insider. I'm a entrepreneur, so I'm a user of this stuff. I'm not a maker of it. I think they fall into two camps. One camp is WordPress platform based, and then the other is standalone hosted companies like 3D Cart or Shopify. And I'll just tell you, of all of the self-hosted unique sites, I think Shopify is the best. Now then you compare them to WordPress based solutions, and as I mentioned previously, I was on WordPress with our business for the first 4 or 5 years. If I could go back in time and launch directly on Shopify, I would do it, because I've been there and I know how it gets screwed up. And I don't care who you work with that's building on the Shopify platform. Shopify was not designed for e-commerce, and it's just night and day difference in my view. And so depending on what shopping cart you WordPress, you still have vulnerability for how things can crater on you. And so honestly, I mean, that's just my strong opinion. I don't see any WordPress based solution that can compete with Shopify, and I've tried quite a few of them. Hopefully that helps a little.
Yeah.
But there are people who love some of the WordPress based providers, shopping cart providers, and they're passionate about their solution, and that's fine. But I've just had it fail for me too many times. So
Lisa says, do you recommend to have it hosted on a private server?
you can't host Shopify on a private server. Shopify hosts its own platform, solution on its own servers. So there is no, like with WordPress, there's WordPress.com and WordPress.org, and you can self-host your own WordPress site. Shopify does not operate that way. Shopify is a hosted solution for you. Yeah. And now you can have your own URL, your own domain name, but you cannot take it to a Bluehost or a HostGator or that kind of thing. It doesn't work that way.
And we got Messenger's business is twofold question. They have, how did the vendors find you? Are they required to sign an exclusive with you?
That's a good question for my marketplace. They found us because we're the leader in the industry, and our site is the biggest in the industry, and so that people know of us. And some people don't publish with us because they see us as competitors with what they want to do, and that's fine. So, but we're real prominent in our little niche corner of the universe. And then the other thing that we've done successfully is we have classes that actually we kind of grow our own partners. We have classes that are called the first one's called the Design Academy, and then we have one called the Pattern Academy. And people come out of that saying, I want to publish patterns, kind of create our own partners in that regard. And they basically sign a royalty agreement with us that is either exclusive or non-exclusive. And we modeled it after Kindle Direct Publishing, Amazon's Kindle platform. And basically the idea is if you go exclusive with us, you get more exposure and more goodies in your deal. And if you're non-exclusive and you can publish on other platforms like Etsy or Craftsy, then you don't get as much exposure and as much direct marketing help from us. So that works.
So Leslie says, what other sites do you sell on?
So we've sold on a lot of sites. We still use eBay to do auctions. Is the only thing we do on eBay is our auctions, and we do them really almost as a publicity deal. We have a charity that we launched and is growing nicely, and so when we make items and launch them at auction on eBay, the money goes to our charity. We've also sold on Zulily, which is a big billion-dollar site in Seattle. We've worked with them and sold. We have sold on Amazon. We've sold personally arbitrage stuff on Amazon, and then we've also sold business related to doll clothes stuff on Amazon. Tried it in a couple different ways. It's not a primary sales channel for us because honestly, we like to sell direct to customers. And what else? We do sell on Etsy. We have a whole catalog of our patterns on Etsy. And those are the primary ones. Yeah.
And we have another question. What other sites, you did that one, can you sell used items?
You sell anything you want. Sell digital items, sell physical items, sell new, used. Anything you take a picture of and write a description of, you can sell on a Shopify site. It's completely your deal. And digital items are very effectively delivered. So we do about 40 to 50,000 transactions a month, downloaded items. So we're not fulfilling physically 40 to 50,000 items a month. It's mostly digital, instant delivery. But you can also sell digital, like video courses, instantly delivered. But yeah, on and on. Anything you come up with.
These are good questions.
These are great.
Brian has one. He says, do you use Facebook ad and Google AdWord?
Yes, both. Yeah.
Messenger Business again says, do you watermark your pictures?
No, it's a waste of time. We dominate our niche. And if people want to copy our pictures and we find them, we'll send them a nasty gram or, we've had people take our digital goods and sell them on eBay. And we have an intellectual property attorney that sends a letter, when we find that. But no, we don't want to mark our pictures.
I'm not sure what Bryant means by this, but he says, what other fees do we have to pay after the $20?
Well, so for example, if you have a basic Shopify store and then you say, you know what, I want a really, really good theme. I like this one. It's $200, one-time fee. Then you pay that $200. Or if you say, I really want a loyalty program, and so you want to pay for that because it's an additional app you pay for to have a loyalty program. Then there are providers that have apps, and you choose one and you pay that amount every month. Generally, those types of things are monthly subscriptions. So, that might be $49 a month. So then you're paying your basic Shopify setup fee, your Shopify subscription, and you're paying additionally for that app. They bundle it so you only get, you pay in a uniformed way. But basically, that's how you can start to escalate your costs in Shopify. And then there's the transaction fees that I already mentioned.
I figured out how to do it. I posted the link in it, so thanks on YouTube.
Okay, cool.
For the another question, do you show how to get customers to our Shopify site?
The course that I offer is primarily related to setup of the Shopify site. The only real marketing integration piece we dive into is email marketing, and specifically how to integrate it into your Shopify site. So the course does not cover, social media and, Google AdWords and that kind of thing. It's just outside the scope of the class. So no, in general, it's mostly focused on getting your store right and professionally done. And there are tons of courses on Udemy about, how to do AdWords, how to do Facebook advertising, how to do Pinterest. I've written books on those topics as well: Pinterest Power, YouTube Marketing Power, and Instagram Power that I'm happy to have you pick up on Amazon. But the course just focuses on the store design and implementation. What else?
Someone said, did you say the Udemy course is $20 as your link to the Udemy course says $25?
Does? I thought it was 20. It honestly should be 20. I don't know. Maybe the $5 is a tip. I don't know. I'm sorry. I set it up to be a $20 price point. The course is $20. Normally, I'm not giving you guys a discount. It's just a $20 course. So don't know why it's saying 25. Honestly, I'm very sorry if that's true. So give me an extra $5 just because I'm cool, I guess. I don't know. Hopefully that isn't a showstopper. And I'm not trying to make light of it, but I thought I set it up for $20. So hopefully that won't stop you.
I'm trying to see if there's any more questions. I think I hit them all now that I figured out how to do the YouTube chat.
Awesome.
Which obviously is not something that I thought I would have to do because I had the webinar thing set up, but
no, honestly, yeah, this was a bummer, and hopefully not too many people jumped off at the beginning, but it's fun to talk through this stuff. Great questions, by the way. These are fantastic. All of these are top of mind. I mean, these are the things you got to work through.
Absolutely. Any more questions, you guys, for Jason while we still have him here? If you do, you can post them in the YouTube. I can see them now. I kind of figured out how to work that. So I'm going to check the other one. I'm going to jump back over and see if I can see any over in the Webinar Jam chat. I'm kind of bouncing.
Well, let's do this. You guys know who I am now. You know my deal. You know, Pixie Fair is our website. Hopefully you'll jump into the Shopify course if it's right for you. If not, it's totally cool. Hit me up anytime. I mean, maybe, you know, as you stew